So turn your camera on, William, so we can see your pretty face.
Hold on, I'm eating.
That's okay. You can leave it off.
Yep,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Okay. All looks good. Uh, okay. I guess we'll go. 3, 2. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Brad Wren.
It's week 13. What a nice break. I needed it.
It's the holidays, David Hall.
It's week 13 and all things are feeling kind of settled.
All right, and William Westbrook.
Hey guys, before I forget to do this later, I want to give a shout out to SimSport Gadget. I bought a flag from them over Black Friday. It came, and unfortunately, it was defective, but reached right out to them, and they've already sent me a new one out. So great customer service. So before I forget to do that later, just a quick shout out.
Nice. On today's show, we will cover the new build and what's happening in week 13. Attempt to catch up on way too much hardware. See which iRacer is now a world champion. Dig into the 2026 iRacing special events calendar and which hardware company is facing a takeover.
That's right, Mike. And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all of the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We hope to see you there.
All right, it's build week. First thing we have is Adelaide Street Circuit, and we have an iRacing X post with a short video featuring that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll end up buying this. Do I run anything where I'm going to end up at Adelaide? That's the real question.
I know that Major Series will be going there now that it's out, so yeah, I will be getting it.
Yeah, it's already in a few schedules for season one. So I think it's in the GT Sprint and maybe in the Porsche Cup as well.
Yep.
And
I'll
Well,
probably grab it.
while we're talking new tracks, we also have some pictures from Miami.
I love
Yeah, this
the
looks
fake lagoon with the boats.
it looks fantastic. I think I can hear my CPU and my GPU screaming already.
It's not that bad. It's less than Mexico.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising. I thought it would have been worse.
Nah, I mean you do have that stadium in the middle. It is more demanding than the older tracks, but it's like I said, I wouldn't say it's any worse than Mexico. I think it's gonna be a fun track. I thought I was gonna hate it because I don't normally like tracks that are designed for Formula. But I've done probably like 7 or 8 laps on it, and it was actually pretty good. I think it'll be good for single class racing. I wouldn't put multi class on there, but it should be a lot of fun.
So there's like a skybox tram thing where you can get in a thing and it takes you from one place to the other. Does that move while you're on track?
I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention.
That'd be cool if it did.
I would anticipate that it does.
Kind of like the Ferris wheel at Daytona is rotating.
All right, as we're talking all the build stuff, we just got a bunch of quick hits. We have a post from the Porsche 992.
A 92.2, actually. I don't know if that makes a difference, but it probably does if you're a Porsche fan. I don't know really myself. When you tell me all the different Porsche numbers and Porsche numbers from the past, I don't have all those memorized, so or know exactly what's what.
Well, it's still a bit confusing. It's the 911, but it's the 992.2. So again, Porsche just names stuff the way they ever want it. However they want to name it, that's how they name it.
I was kind of wondering that. What's the rhyme or reason to it? The numbers.
I'm sure there's a convention somewhere. We just have to probably dig down the rabbit hole of Google to find out.
What do they do when they get to 4 digits?
We'll find out
Now,
in 9
They,
years.
well, yeah, that's why they keep putting the point two. So now they can do point three, point four. See, they can expand the 992 for another, 7 or 8 years.
now, look.
So about go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, David, scroll down a little, and you're going to have a video that goes with this car from Daniel Morad, who's basically super high praise of iRacing on this car and the way it's developed and how well it matches the real life counterpart. And so, listening to this video, even though I'm not a guy who would buy this car, I want to buy this car and try it just because of what Daniel says about it.
Since you mentioned Daniel, he was in the recent batch of Driving with Racers or Dinner with Racers podcast, and that was a really good interview. And they actually talked quite a bit of iRacing in it.
Nice. I didn't know that. I'll have to catch that one. I'm very far behind on that podcast. I've driven it. Road Atlanta, Road America, Long Beach. I think it's pretty fun. I am sad that the old one went away. Not I understand it. It wasn't realistic, but it was a challenge to drive, and that's kind of where I started almost. And once I got out of rookies, so I am sad to see that go. But the new one is really fun. It's a heck of a lot more realistic apparently. The suspension is super stiff on it, and I don't know if it's a bug. I've read it's a bug. I read that's how the real car is. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody from iRacing comment on it yet. But if you watch the curbs, if you're driving this car, otherwise it's a lot of fun to drive. Draft is insane in it, especially in long straights like Road America.
Yeah, I took it out at Sebring, I guess Tuesday night, I think maybe or something. But yeah, it's fun, but it's very bouncy. So, but going back to the video, I mean, even if you watch the video, Daniel's turning laps at Watkins Glen, and he's literally launching the thing through the bus stop. And I mean, when I say launching, I mean it's front tires off the ground. So I do think they probably need to tone that down a little bit. I mean, I think I told William, I mean, coming through Sunset Bend at Sebring, I mean, it would literally almost rip the steering wheel out of your hands. That's how violent the bumping was.
More content from iRacing on the new content. Lucas Oil Dirt Road is now available.
Yeah, I'm not a dirt road guy, not a dirt guy, but this, I mean, I guess it looks fun. I mean, I don't know. I don't own it, so but it looks neat.
Yeah, I got to run this. I ran the new FIA Cross car, which is a dirt road car. And look, this car is fun, by the way. It's kind of like the closest thing we're going to get to a go-kart. It's got go-kart like wheels on it that are real small, but it's got suspension and everything, and you can really whip it around and it's very forgiving. And so it was a lot of fun to drive, especially on the pavement parts. When I ran it at Daytona Road, which had a lot of pavement and just some dirt. This one is like a full dirt, but it is a lot of fun. I definitely suggest people try it. It's a free car, and this Lucas Oil one. Initially, when you're on the track, it's hard to figure out which way to go because there's all these different configurations and side roads. And luckily, I was in a practice and I fell in behind somebody, and I
Whoa,
was
whoa,
like,
whoa,
I'm just
whoa,
gonna
whoa,
follow this
whoa,
guy.
whoa, 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 whoa. What happened to the driving line?
No driving line in that. I turned it off. Or yeah, I guess I had it
What?
off. Yeah.
What? Come on, Mike. You
No,
disappoint.
I had to follow some guy around the track to learn it, basically. Yeah, it's what happened. It was fun.
So you settled on driving without the driving line.
No, I still have it on in certain cars. I don't know. It depends on what car it is.
Oh, so it's kind of a compromise.
I think maybe because this is a new car, it was turned off. I don't know. And I'm too lazy to turn it on.
Clicking is hard.
The new UI is hard. I like the full transparency, but when you get in the settings, it's really bad.
We'll get there in a little bit.
All right, we continue down the content road. to the road in Australia that's not Adelaide, and that's Mount Panorama or Bathurst, right? Bathurst. I don't know. But yeah, the refresh is done.
So I haven't fired the track up, and I probably haven't run, I don't know, maybe a handful of races here through the years, but I guess I saw some stuff on the forum that a lot of the signage is still the old stuff. So did they do a refresh and just didn't update the signage? I mean, I would expect if they're going to do a refresh, it's just like we have on the NASCAR side. It's all updated signage and everything to get it up to what would look like today. I'm guessing that's not
It,
what happened.
it looked different to me, but I didn't really ever pay that much attention to it, to be honest. The pedigree stuff is still there, but I believe that's still there in real life. But yeah, the rest of the track looked different to me.
Yeah, I just saw some threads in the forum, about I guess still having some old signage up around the track. So, but I don't know. Like I said, I haven't done it. It looks great. I mean, I think the track looked pretty good to begin with, but it's nice to see them continuing to pick some items, pick some tracks, and get them more up to the artwork that we're used to now.
Look, if they were really just refreshing the artwork without actually going to the track or getting photos of the track or sending a guy to get photos of the track, wouldn't it make sense? Hey, let's ask the community. There's somebody who lives there who can go get us a few, just even their amateur photos of what's going on around the track so the art team can do it, the right way.
Well, they said they sent a team there to get all updated
Oh,
photos.
they did.
So yeah, they did. That was in the dev blog.
Interesting to hear in the forums it might be different.
All right, well, that brings us to the actual patch notes, and we've already hit some of the highlights, but I'm just going to read off the rest of the highlights. Um, we already mentioned that new scan data for Rockingham is available, but I guess that means the old isn't there. The new UI feature option search, a widget editor is in. The standalone widgets are now available. The improved track dust and water initialization is in place. They've done some art and hybrid system updates for the Delara. The Toyota GR has had some physics and system updates based on real world data. The Truck Series aerodynamic model is updated. GT3 class cars have been updated. The Ola Refresh rubber and rubbering improvements for multi groove racing. Some languages. Rain Racing is available for the new 992.2. Uh, the all racing comes built in, or AI racing comes built in with the same car, as well as several of the new tracks, and there's a lot of new vehicle setups.
Well, that's a mouthful, but yeah. Look, I tried the widget thing, and so you Alt K, and then you can hit edit on the widget editor, and you can click on the new standing that it kind of pops up over here, and I can drag it like over here, and then I Alt K, and it all disappears. So I cannot figure it out, or something's wrong on my end.
You've got to There's an option in there to turn it on to where it's visible. So yeah, the whole widget thing is a bit. We've got a video a little bit further down in the script where the guy does somewhat of an attempt to explain it, but it was not very intuitive. So I'll give you an example. Monday night I was practicing for our grassroots race on Tuesday, and I was practicing. I had all the mirrors on, and so I had all the mirrors on through practice, and I get ready to go into the race. I'm like, hang on, I'm gonna go back to the virtual mirror. So go into the settings like normal, turn the four mirrors off, hit the virtual mirror, jump in the race car, no mirror. I'm like, that's weird. Jump back out. Hmm. Says it's on. Why is it not on? Couldn't get to come on, so I finally had to turn the other mirrors back on and run the race with all the mirrors, which is fine. Well, come to find out, you have to turn that on in the widget. So even if you have it on in the settings, it was off in the widget. So the only way I got the virtual mirror on was to go into the widget editor and actually turn it on in there. And then also, if you've noticed, up in the little systems box where you got your FPS and you got all that stuff, all that's controlled by the widgets now. So it's not like it was before. It was on the settings screen somewhere. It's all in the widgets. So they should have done a better job of some explanation on where some of this stuff is, as opposed to just typical iRacing. Just throw it out there and let the users figure it out.
Look, it wasn't intuitive enough for me to figure it out, and I didn't spend a lot of time on it either. I was just trying to do it quick before a race. And but look, if I can't figure it out in the first 2 minutes, they got a problem, you know?
Like I said, the virtual mirror thing was, I mean, I about missed the start of the race because I kept going back and forth. I'm like, what did I do? Did I not turn it on? What did I do wrong? And again, I would not have thought I needed to go to the widget editor to turn the virtual mirror on when the option is still there under the mirror setting under graphics.
Now the new UI feature for option search, look, that's a nice needed option because of what I said before. It's so hard to find stuff in the settings now, the way it's laid out, and you have to scroll all the way up and down these long pages. Um, and so I like the idea that you can just go in there and type and it will find it.
So going back to the release notes, so just under the just some general simulator stuff, some changes to netcode for handling the vehicles and elevation changes has been updated. So I guess that'll improve the vertical positioning. So if everybody can remember, it's kind of in the past, you see cars actually dig down into the track and whatnot. Some race control changes for dirt road events. Nothing for asphalt road. I see. Never mind. Moving on. Dynamic track model. I think Dave touched on this a little bit. This is all part of the oval refresh. So some tire sliding parameters have been adjusted, and then I guess to help some more with rubber tearing from the tires, um, and then a bunch of AI stuff, but a lot of improvements to certain tracks with AI, and then cars as well.
So that bullet point number 2 about will result in more tire wear on rubbered in tracks, reducing the long-term advantage of staying in the groove, uh, as well as the track will rubber in more, etc. David, on our league race, I think we definitely saw this. I felt like something was different with the way that the track rubbered. The beginning of the run, the bottom was the place to go, and we migrate up to the top or the middle at Bristol, but you could see it on the track, and the rubber marbles were, I think, more visible more than ever before.
I noticed there's some in practice. I was taken out pretty early in the race, and at that point was 40 laps down and just making circles because I had to be there to admin the race at that point. So I didn't notice it. Some more things on the patch notes that jumped out to me. They made some changes on the track side for Daytona, particularly on the road course. They've added some 1x penalties back in the travel apron area. That'll trigger a 1x if all four wheels are inside the painted white line. And they've added a tire bundle that can be moved at the bus stop.
Be
And
nice.
there's some additional off track info. I wonder if it will still completely destroy your car if you hit it.
Well, be nice if they would address the off track, which I think is what happens on the entry into turn one, where guys are going out 10 car lengths into the off the track surface in order to make that turn.
I can't make that work. I know some people can. It's not effective for me.
So we
But
talked before about the weather changes. So again, um, some work to determine a more appropriate level for worst case green flag weather. Again, forecast accuracy has been improved, so especially over longer periods of time. Improve the track initialization parameters for drying tracks, especially in areas where porous or non-porous materials are immediately adjacent, which is kind of interesting. If you've got an area that's more porous, it would assume dry quicker. So it's crazy how they actually incorporate this in there. So we give them grief at times, but it's very cool. Um, and then also track maps are more accurately centered in the weather radar window. So I still think they need to do some work on that, the radar. That could definitely use an improvement.
to Gen 4, It says the front suspension ball joints locations have been updated to correct force feedback oscillations and reversal. And I don't know if I could tell anything different in the force
Oh,
feedback in the
it
league
was
race.
way better.
Yeah, I
Well,
think I felt more fidelity in it, kind of thing.
what this really fixed, or something else that they did that also fixed it, was what we're struggling with the Gen 4 the weeks before is whenever every time you'd come out of the corner, there was just kind of some deadness in the middle of the wheel, and it would make the wheel turn to the right or to the left, no matter what you did. Sometimes it want to turn to the wall, sometimes it want to turn left. There was there was not really any auto straightening, and we were all making a joke that we were having to be tense on the straightaways and relax in the corners because of the way it
Yeah,
was behaving.
it was
That, that
bad at Darlington.
yeah, that was gone. That was completely gone. It was more like a normal car. So yeah, they did some work there.
I'd be interested to maybe turn some laps at Darlington and see if it's actually gone because that's where I noticed it the most. I mean, you could come off the corner and everything was fine, and then sudden the car would just shoot to the left.
They changed all the
Or
setups
right.
too.
Yeah, they did change the setups. I had to redo all the setups in the sessions that were set up. Yeah, sometimes it would try to turn to the left. And this is not a loose turn to the left. This is like the front end would jerk to the left or to the right.
So, just some other car updates on the GT3 class. All cars now have spring perches that automatically adjust when spring rates change. So that's nice. You don't have to go back in there and have to try to tweak. So that's a good thing. Let's see. We did touch briefly on the trucks. So NASCAR trucks, again, some aerodynamic offsets been updated. So everybody knows if you watch a truck series, you see how skewed that they run the trucks. So I guess this new update is taking that into account to better accurate forces, and as far as the side forces go. Drafting model's been updated again, and then rear of the truck's been updated in order to improve the bump drafting. So that's good to hear.
Um, Corvette had some updates with their tires. They should warm a little bit faster now. They had their aero modified as well. The Mustang rear wing is no longer a paperweight. It won't fall off just getting tapped.
Like
What else?
like a butterfly hits it, it falls off.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So they strengthened the rear wing mount.
You got to love that they're giving love to all the content, including old content. For example, I see Lotus 79. Like, this is a car from the past. Nobody's really running it except for in leagues and stuff like that. There's not like any official race that has it. And they're working on it. It says here low speed steering oscillations have been dampened. This will greatly reduce intense shaking that can sometimes happen at low speed pit lane exits. But they're not the type that, puts out a car 10 years ago and then forgets about it. Let's go back and revisit it. What can we fix and make it better?
Until they retire it.
Right.
All right, let's move on. We've got Virtual Revolution, which is really it looks like, Brad, it's a magazine talking about sim racing taking over the real racing world, essentially. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's an article kind of walks through um, William Byron Esports. So you got Tucker Mentor, and then you've got Nick Ottinger. Kind of walks through Tucker's how he got into to sim racing. Talks a little bit about that. Kind of recaps his year. Talks a little about the amount of time he puts into this and whatnot. Same thing with Ottinger. I get a nice little blurb here about Jack Tobias. Again, someone else he's actually an aerospace engineer in the University of Florida, but again has found passion in sim racing. I get a little blurb here about Raja Karuth. Again started his racing on the sim, and then of course William Byron as well. So just kind of one of those nice articles. Just continues to discuss the carryover from sim racing to real racing. There's a benefit there. We talked I think last week that it's almost an expectation now that anybody coming up is going to spend a substantial amount of time in the sim compared to just being behind the wheel of a real car. There's a 1-to-1 comparison, as far as for making guys better drivers.
Yeah, this is a neat topic idea. It comes from grandstandmag.com, which is a student run publication from the University of Florida College of Journalism and Communication.
All right. Is this the video you were talking about, Brad, that talks about the widgets that's
I
next?
the one I guess I need to watch because, like I said, I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, this is TDI 99. Just kind of a quick hit. I think it's about 5 or 6 minutes. He just talks a little bit about this, tells you how to get it open, kind of walks you through. You got the static boxes that you can put now. The one thing I did like about it, I didn't know, is I didn't expand the weather box out, but when you do that now, you actually get a small little radar window in there. So
So
that's
where
not
are you going
bad.
to put them on your screen?
Uh,
Triples.
um, Triple side, you drag them out to your other sides. I mean, I have something on all three boxes, whether it's iRacing or if it's an overlay. I've got something on all three of them. So, but I did like I like the idea of the with the weather box and the radar to be to where in the car you can see. It's one thing to look at the forecast, but you really don't get a good idea. So that was nice. Like I said, there's still, again, just not super intuitive. I'm sure iRacing will probably put out a video at some point walking you through. We seem to get a how-to video, as after the last release of the UI and stuff like that. So, but just a quick 3-minute hit is all it is.
All right, William, what's this next Instagram post about? Something with Lando Norris, eh?
Yeah, it's an Instagram account congratulating the sim racer Lando Norris for winning the world championship. I don't know how they're affiliated with him. I kind of browsed their Instagram, and it's just a bunch of POV videos. So I don't know if they're affiliated with him or just a nice little post congratulating him on the win. But
Well,
yeah, it shows him in his setup with his helmet sitting there behind him.
I was thinking we should give a shout out to him, since he did actually win the championship. We're always talking about Max, but look, Lando is an influencer in sim racing. I was personally influenced by Lando Norris. I went and bought the Cube Controls F Pro for 1,200 euros because Lando Norris had a Cube Controls F Pro, and I'm like, man, I want to be like Lando, and totally influenced me.
The second picture, interestingly, he's in the fire suit and helmet with the headphones over the helmet.
Yeah, I thought that was cute, wasn't it? Do you think he can still hear through the headphones? What's being played through the headphones, David?
Not very well.
Right.
All right, we've got a dirt racing last lap pass, Mike.
We do. We have the championship for the 2025-2026 World of Outlaws iRacing Pro Series, and it's Ryan Avila. He steals it with a last lap pass on Ramsey at Lincoln Speedway. And so it says Logan Rumsey led the entire way, but on that last lap, Avila gets the run. He makes the move and he takes the victory. And we got a video on X showing it. And these are this is why you watch dirt racing, is for these last lap passes. And one guy's on the top, one guy's on the bottom, that kind of thing. Pretty cool to see. I didn't see the actual race, but I did watch the highlight.
5 laps to go, make it 4.
And then what's the best way to capture the title? Finish it with a win as well, which, I mean, you have to do that if it's a one race playoff, but that was not the situation these guys were in. But BMW, Team Redline, as well as Coanda take the championships in the IMSA Esports Global Championship. Tell us the rest.
Yeah, it was last race at Daytona. They weren't leading the whole time either, which is kind of sometimes odd for these races. They had to make a pass after the first or second pit stop. I still have not watched any of these, and which is very sad. I took some time off work over the holidays. I'm gonna binge these to watch all 4 races to see how it went. But yeah, I mean it's always good racing. I wish the MC Esports season championship, whatever they call it, was longer. It seems criminal just to already be over when we just started talking about it.
Well, you want to be, you want these guys to be done before Christmas, probably, and I don't know. It's a good little off-season kind of thing. All right.
So on the GTP side, Team Redline was at the top, and second was also Team Redline, the 34 car, and in third was Porsche Coanda. Then down in the GTD car, Coanda, the 181 Chevy was at the top with the 118 coming in second, and in third was Apex Racing Team.
And the points, well, final Esports Global Championship GTD, Coanda Esports has 1 and 2.
All right. I'm already rolling my eyes just reading this next title, Brad.
I ran across this thread right before the before we started to record. So this is, I guess, Sten Van Gesteren says week 13 or 13th week should be free. In my view, iRacing would benefit significantly from making all content temporarily accessible during 13th week. I've invested more in this platform than any other game, yet the off season consistently feels underwhelming. Many special events use paid cars and tracks that never appear in the, in the normal schedule, which makes the week feel like wasted potential. Opening all content for that single week would improve participation, give players a chance to try new cars and tracks, and strengthen the community its perception of the platform. It wouldn't harm core revenue, and it would likely lead to more purchases once players experience content firsthand. Bullcrap.
Actually, I withdraw my statement. He's not going where I thought he was going. This is not a bad idea to throw everything up for a trial week during
You,
during the
you,
trial
you,
week.
you got it for 24 hours every time there's a build.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
the
do
entitlement.
you have that in multiplayer or do you have that just single?
Single.
Yeah. See, this could be a. I can see it. This is not a bad argument if
Yeah,
it's for a trial. I mean,
New
yeah, the entitlement
customers, right?
can go somewhere else, but I don't necessarily think it. I'm with David. I don't think it's that bad an idea. I mean, that might be some of my hatred for Week 13 because there's nothing for me to do. But I really don't. I mean, as long as it's just Week 13, they're not losing anything, right?
But look, you got to think about this from a software point of view, a software development point of view. Now, I used to be in software development as a project manager, so I know that perspective. But here's the perspective: they code for 12 weeks, they put out a build, they need time to fix the build if there's an emergency problem, and that's what week 13 is for. It's to deploy the build and have time to fix it if there's a problem before the next week, where guess what, we have to go right into another 12 week of coding. And so they plan out these 12 weeks ahead of time, uh, way ahead of time usually, and everyone knows what needs to be done, and so they're on a schedule. And so that's just the way that software is developed. Now sometimes the 12 weeks will be shorter or longer, but when I was in software we did it by quarter, and that's kind of what they're doing. There's 4 quarters, there's 4 seasons.
but this guy is not arguing against week 13 existing. He's just saying flip a switch where if I've never had a chance to run a certain car, that I can run it in the week 13 series only. And then if I want to keep running it in the future, I have to buy it. That's all he's
Good point.
suggesting.
Yeah. Well, again, you can the, you can run all the stuff for 24 hours. They have whatever it's called. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Um,
It's just not as good.
well, I get it, but at the same time, too, going back to what Mike says, that week 13 needs to be. Look, it's somewhat of a chill week. There's things that are going to pop up. We already have a patch coming out next week for stuff that they've caught this week. I'm sure that's gone wrong. Um, but the other thing, this just to me, it just goes back to the entitlement thing. It's just the way there's certain ways you can say things, and this is not the way to say it.
So
Just
look, they if we had all the content be free for the week, William wouldn't have spent $26 this week buying Miami and a Porsche.
No, I would have. But yeah, I get your point.
But
Yeah,
look,
but for
how are
every
they
one of you,
gonna?
there may be two people who try it and they're like, "Yeah, I like this. I am going to go ahead and buy it."
Yeah,
It's
but you're not
it's
gonna
it's
get the sale. Totally disagree with this. Yeah, look, if they, I like the idea if you want to bring in new people. Hey, you don't have an account, you want to try iRacing? Come try it during week 13. We'll let you try it for free for 1 week as a trial.
Oh man, but the racing quality in week 13 is awful. You would scare
Well, that
people
would be
off.
perfect
Like,
because most of us step
oh
away
man.
anyway. So
But if you're trying to get people to actually join the service, that's not the
if
week
you
to do it.
if you step away and aren't even driving, I don't understand why you care if they make the stuff free to somebody else for a week.
yeah, we want more
Like,
people. I think more is better.
so, but that's starting to become an almost dead horse. Definitely not gonna stay make it through the season like an evergreen tree might, but okay. How many more references can we make before the show is over?
I,
It
I
should
think
be a drinking game.
I think you're running out.
All right, Race to the Summit. Is this an event coming up, Brad?
Mike, this is your
Oh yeah, it's
forte.
mine. I don't. Yeah, I've been running this all week actually. It is an event in Time Attack. It's the fifth annual Race to the Summit. I've participated in this before in previous years. I think I've done it every year. Presented by Track Racer, by the way. They do have some sponsorship. It is open to everybody. You can use the free car, which is a VW Beetle. That's the one I ran. Um, and guess who was leading last time I looked? It's our good friend Robbie Swan the third. Alien Robbie Swan, and I say that affectionately, Robbie. You got the best time up there at a 4:52.72 out of everyone who's run. Now I'm running a 5:40, so I'm off 48 seconds off the pole. I tried it probably 20 times,
That
and
margin's
I
pretty.
thought I was fast, and I was 48 seconds off.
That margin's pretty tight.
Yep, don't even own it.
It's fun. Look, when I was running it this week, going up the Mount Washington, and I was streaming on TikTok. Everybody on TikTok was shocked. What? iRacing has rally? That's everybody who came on was saying that. Like, I've never heard of this. I've never even seen this before. But yeah, I was kind of surprised by everybody talking about they don't even know that such a thing exists. But it's a lot of fun, guys. If you're looking for something to do on iRacing and you want to try a rally style thing. This is a fun thing to go in it. And with this time attack being in place right now, you can actually see how you stack up. You can see, oh wow, I'm 48 seconds off Robbie Swan.
All right, the 2026 special events calendar is finally out, and we have a lot of what we typically expect, but a lot of people were excited on our side by the fact that instead of 500 laps at Bristol, it's going to be 500 laps at Darlington.
Yeah,
Yay!
we actually get the crown jewels. So for the on the NASCAR side, you got the Daytona 500, you got the Brickyard 400, you got the Southern 500, and you got the Coke 600 as well, along with the championship race in Homestead will be full length as well. So five full length races for the Cup side.
Firecracker 400.
That's 87s.
Oh,
So, the biggest one I think is Daytona 24 hours. Again, this kind of sets the stage for the whole year. A lot of other leagues, a bunch of us are running the majors. So there was kind of seeing when that was going to hit, as far as when they were going to do the iRacing one that would determine when the majors were going to start the Mech series. So a lot of the normal stuff on here. And I don't see a whole lot different than what we've seen in the past, other than on the NASCAR side, the tracks seem to change a little bit here or there.
how long has it
Yeah,
been without the Southern 500? Has it been 2 or 3 years?
I've been back on since 23. I don't remember doing it then. So I think it's been Bristol the last couple of years.
The 22 likely was the last time we ran it. Yeah.
New is the 6 Hours Road America that replaces the 6 hours of Indy since IMSA changed the endurance from Indy to Road America. There is still the 8 hours of Indianapolis, though. Apparently, I guess that's Super GT or GT America or something. Brad, I think you told me what it was.
Yeah, that's the just GT3. So that's the SRO
But
GT
yeah,
America.
yeah, and then a Brick Car 24 hours of Silverstone. That wasn't there last year, was it?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, so I believe we just had a grassroots guy race in that, and it was not a official special event, but it was Brick Car 24 hours of Silverstone. And they did that last weekend, so maybe that has now made it to an official event.
Oh, that could be interesting. GT3s and GT4s.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Nope,
getting
that's
crowded.
we'll be in Chicago for that.
We could run it at Chicago. Just
There we go.
get get them to let us stay in there all night. Just pull an all nighter party. We can have both teams, both us and the Apex guys there, and just
What a
turn
good
it into
idea.
an event.
What a good idea. We did the 500 episode last year. Now we just live stream a 24-hour race at the expo.
All right. Well, I'll talk to Jorge and see what can be arranged. All right, because I mean, we could literally go back up to the hotel between stints, catch catch a nap, or just go. I mean, we'll have the couch. We can lay out a couple of cots. That'd be funny. All right. So the schedule is also out. I have not downloaded it yet and taken a look over it, but I know William, I saw you post a link to it. Have you taken a look?
I've only taken a look at the stuff that normally concerns me, so IMSA GT3. Kind of glanced at the peak up. I mean, not as great as for at least my stuff the season that we just had, because man, that seemed like they put the most popular tracks in IMSA last year or last season. But again, not bad. Nothing. Nothing stands out to me really.
I like to see what they do with new tracks. Like I brought up iRacing Porsche Cup fixed, and week one, Miami, that forces everyone to buy the Miami track basically to go with the car.
Oh, whoa, whoa! They have snuck something in on us. Week 12 of IMSA is now at Miami. That was not like that when it first released.
What? Oh my gosh.
There you go. It was just
Yeah,
a placeholder. All right.
yeah.
I'll enjoy passing you in annoying places that when we go to that one, Brad.
It's a
Uh,
little tight. I don't, but there's plenty of places to pass. There's two really long straights, but then there's some really tight corners. So I don't know. Well, I'll be interested to see how it goes.
well, it's like
Well,
Mexico. There are certain sections where you just get bottled up.
And Mexico's week 1, by the way.
I know, and I think
Okay.
GT3s has got what I tell you, Adelaide in the rain. What a great way to start.
Yeah, I wish they had the first time through. I wish they had kept
it
the rain away,
it
but
rains in Australia,
apparently.
just on the coast, actually. All right. Well, there's no events to cover until we get, I guess, into January when we start doing the actual special events. So, what else is going on, Brad?
Just a couple hits on week 13. So you've got the some of the new content, new features. 13th week Mountain Showdowns. That's the Porsche 911 Cup 992 Super Formula. Assorted other cars at Bathurst. You've got the 13th week Super Slide. That's the FIA cross car, along with the Irish GT3 Challenge. So that's going to be at Adelaide and Miami. Funny forecast. So TCRs at Nürburgring, the Nordschleife, and then 13th week Formula Fun. So that's the Dallara IR18. And the winter NASCAR iRacing Series is still on the schedule for week 13. But looking ahead, you got the Chili Bowl coming up, the 16th to the 21st. And then Production Car Challenge at VIR will be the 19th and the 20th.
Podcast housekeeping. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find the podcast. Mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We would appreciate it. Check out our Discord and get involved in the discussion. Lots going on over there, including teammate showing off his new motion rig as he's building it in his garage. What a scene that is. And you can get our show notes at iRacersLounge.com. We are in regular rotation over at Performance Motorsports Network. Get your iRacers Lounge hat, shirt, merchandise at iRacersLounge.shop.
All right, we did run another league race last night. It was Bristol, and we actually had a few cautions on this one, but it still wasn't a caution fest. I did get caught up in the first one. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But congratulations to Justin Thompson, who's trying to run away with the league, except for he had some technical difficulties last week uh, that that put in a bad week for him. But Justin Thompson took the win. Christian was second, and Sam Harris was third. Now, actually, Christian was probably either going to win this race or Ryan Carlisle was in position. Christian was running Ryan Carlisle down, who was who was on old tires. He had actually managed to stretch the fuel tank, and it was going to be close between the two of them. And we had a late caution, and Justin took two tires and stole the track position, and was able to hold Christian off to at the end. So it was a bit of a steal. On top of that, Mike snuck into the money this time around.
Yeah, I was in the mix for a lot of this. I had some bad luck towards the end, but I gained some track position when I pitted when the opened and nobody else did. They went another lap around, basically gave me the lead to the race. And once I got that track position, I was able to keep it and run top five for a lot of it. But
Yeah,
I want to point out I was right behind the leaders and I was a lap down when it at the end, and I was right behind the leaders at the end, and they were three wide at some point at Bristol, people, for the win. And it was amazing watching these three drivers, Ryan Carwile, Christian Challoner, and uh, Justin Thompson, give each other enough room, don't wreck each other, and make it work. And it was respectful, clean, good NASCAR racing, and it was really fun to see.
and on the spreadsheet that I've got posted here, since I don't think iRacing shows the drop weeks until you get to week 9, I'm counting one drop week so far, and so that puts Christian now at the top of the standings, but Justin is only 24 points behind. So we basically have a two-man race because Grady Gherkin is 138 points behind, but that could change if he gets a win because a win is worth 100 points. Wesley Pistole is in fourth, also really close with Jake Hickson in fifth. So, yeah, it's one of the neat things with the layout is it can change, but also otherwise you're kind of the midpoints you're just kind of fighting for, I guess, not as many points, and it's pretty interesting because it creates almost a flight system where you've got your top flight battles and your second flight battles. If you've ever followed golf tournaments or anything like that, where they split them into flights.
Yeah, I can't make every week because I normally work on this day, but I've been off work, so I was able to do it. And you know, Grady, who's in third, he's fast, and I can definitely see why he's in third.
Well, and he's got or three really good finishes, and then in week 6 was a strong finish, but not a top 5, I don't think. But he didn't start until week 3, and he's already up in third. So he's still got a 0 counting in his score.
We could use more drivers. I mean, we have enough to make it fun, but we need a few more. So if you're out there listening, you can still join.
All right, hardware, software. The first question, I'll throw it to Mike because I thought you had these pedals, didn't you?
I still do. I have the clutch and the throttle. I don't have the brake, but it's a Simpson Pros, and it's a review by DJ EJ, which usually doesn't do reviews, but uh, these are kind of in his alley. You know, he's kind of a low budget kind of racer, and so he thought he would give his impressions. He said they're priced affordably in the mid range, around 300 with the base plate, which was surprising given their high quality appearance. Assembly was fairly easy, he said, compared to IKEA furniture.
No,
You
he did
know,
have some issues getting couldn't get the haptics to work. So
I don't have the haptics, so I can't really speak to that. But look, I think and we see Simpson coming out with other products besides pedals. I think we saw a gear shift recently. It's clear that these are modeled after Heiskenville sports. The design of them, the cut of them, the shape of them, the every little joint and everything is identical. Like if you pulled up to the PDFs, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart, probably. And so I kind of have a problem buying stuff like that because you're giving in to the Chinese, stealing the intellectual property when you purchase something like this. But on the other hand, it's super convenient. So I was kind of torn when I bought them actually, just for that reason. But hey, it was in my budget. I needed something cheap that would work, and it fit the bill.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call them complete knockoffs. I mean, that's the design of Huskenfeld has been copied, but they are a little bit different. Um, yeah, I think the one thing that DJ kind of touches on a little bit, he's a desk racer, so he's got these trying to put them on the floor, which doesn't work on carpet very well. He said he had to continue to soften the brake up because otherwise he was pushing them away from him. I think that's like any of those mid to high range pedals, you probably do need to be on some sort of static rig to where you can actually hard mount these onto your rig.
I think
But
that
the
happens
haptic,
with not well, he's not new, but with when people upgrade, they buy the equipment before they buy the rig. I was vice versa. I wanted to get the rig first. I'm like, well, where would I mount this stuff?
What you can say, William?
the haptics, could he not get them all to work or just the wheel slip? Because
I think
iRacing
it's the wheel
doesn't.
slip.
Yeah, iRacing doesn't export that to the API, so I don't think it's going to work,
No,
no
he
matter what
probably.
he does.
Yeah, I mean, you probably need to do that through SimHub. Would be my guess.
You can't get that information from iRacing, even to SimHub.
I understand it. SimHub kind of fakes it, is what they do.
Yeah, but eh,
I know. That's
you can
why I
get
don't
it
use
through
it.
LFE. You can get it through the LFE channel because I get wheel slip on my butt kicker.
So yeah, but that's an audio cue that is given to that butt kicker, and I think that's what Brad talking about in SimHub. They use that same audio cue, so to speak,
yeah,
to drive it.
yeah, that's the way to do it. It's just not very accurate. You can't get the telemetry, is what I mean, and I don't know.
All right, we have I think, well, is this a TikTok about a wheel, Mike
Yeah,
or Will?
Grays
I don't ever
Dynamics.
watch the
Yeah,
TikToks.
he puts out Grays Dynamic puts out a video about the wheel called the Velocitas Imperium RSR at around $950. And this looks like a high-end wheel with a LCD screen and all the bells and whistles, and uh, kind of reminds me of the Porsche wheel from SimLab to a point.
Looks very similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind
that's
of a
what I was gonna say. It
knockoff
looks
of
like a
it, right?
knockoff. He's got a Transformer, Decepticon, Autobot, whatever logo on it to kind of cover it up, but I think it's a knockoff of the Porsche.
950. That's a lot cheaper than what 2400 or whatever the Porsche is.
Yeah, and he said good things about it.
He
It's
did.
kind of a bargain price for that type of wheel nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, you get a wheel that's under $1,000 for with a um, with a screen and everything else. That's pretty cheap.
So check it.
All right, this next one might be a little bit time sensitive, but CXC Simulation Motions Pro 3 is finally here, and you can check them out at the IAA HQ at booth 1344 and drive one today. So where are they hosting this?
Well, I don't know, but you certainly get a look at CXC's new product. I haven't seen them put out a product that's different looking in quite some time. But these things are like bobsled on, 4 actuators kind of thing. It looks like a bobsled that you're sitting in. And yeah, it looks like, full motion rigs and whatnot.
So this was some kind of convention somewhere.
Likely.
I I think it'd be neat for a sim center or something like that. I can't see this in my house.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't know if you'd buy this for a home, but like you said, a sim center or something.
Well, the sim center we went to, they had, what did they have? They had aluminum profile, right?
Yeah, just regular
Yeah,
rigs.
yeah. I mean, that's what most of them have. It's just I don't know. This is yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of
All right.
arcade-ish. Arcade. I'm thinking like arcade. This is what you would see in an arcade.
All right. It looks like BDH is getting into the active shifter realm. What? Tell us about it, Brad.
Yeah, we've covered this before. So this is they debuted this at the ADAC Sim Racing Expo. So this is the BDH active shifter. So we talked about this before. It's got you can actually change how the gates work just by turning the knob. So you're not having to actually change the physical gate. It's pretty neat. But again, it ain't cheap, and unless you're into driving like historic cars or stuff, I just don't see. There's just most modern day race cars are not using, a H pattern shifter. It's just what it is. So maybe you get to the point where they have this built in they'll switch to sequential. To me that would have probably been a good thing to do. But they do have it on pre-sale phase one. Ends on the 23rd of December. So
So it's only H and you can't do sequential, right?
no, and like we talked before, I mean, I don't think most games don't export this data either. So if you miss a gear, there's like I said, I don't believe iRacing, and I know I don't. I'm pretty sure iRacing does not export gear shifting telemetry to where you'd actually get hung in a gear, other than you just missing the shift.
It just never shifts, right? So there's nothing in the API to give, right? Look, so the pre-order ends on December 23rd. What what I was thinking of when I saw this was the people that already have a BDH. I wonder if they're gonna upgrade and then sell theirs, and maybe we could get one on the cheap, a used one of the old style ones. Our friend Joe Owen has one of these, the old one.
All right, Mike. I think you've recently jumped into the glove market.
Yeah, I bought the Daniel Morad gloves and really like them. But boy, right, these came out right after I got my new ones from Gomez, and I don't like that they're short, but I do love the color red, red, white, and blue, which is kind of matches my theme. If these were for sale, or if I had known about these before I bought the other ones, I might have bought these, but I am kind of liking the ones that go down over the wrist.
Yeah, I don't like anything on my wrist when I'm racing, so that's why I don't like short gloves. You're muted.
Thank you. So they make long gloves. I just don't think they're in these patterns.
Right.
That's interesting. I prefer the short gloves, and I'm still just using uh, workout gloves. But I've got them super short, so they don't even go past the, I guess, the ankle bone of your wrist, that little bulge. So they're real short. Um, and because when I have something there, if I have something there, it's usually something squeezing really tight, like when I'm bench pressing. But yeah, everybody just uses what's comfortable, I guess. They're getting the job done. All right, next up we got a speaker system. If you like surround, what do you think of this one, William?
We've covered this one before, right? Or is this a new company making it? It goes through around the back of your racing seat. Supposedly will give you 7.1 sound with a subwoofer. It's pretty expensive for what it does, I think, $450. And just looking at the size of that, I can't imagine they could put that great of quality speakers in there.
Look, those speakers, like you say, William, they can't be bigger than 2 inches, maybe three. Just looking at the picture, and what kind of quality are you going to get out of that without a proper box around it and whatnot? Now, I kind of like the idea where it puts the surrounds. Those are the parts that go kind of up in the air, and it puts the surrounds up there, and then you got the left and right are like literally to the left of your head and right of your head because it's hooked to the back of your chair and kind of swings around the side. And so to have speakers that close to you and have them very directional, one's like pointing directly in the left ear, one's pointing in directly in the right ear. I think you'll get a lot of stereo effect and surround effect out of it. But like you said, I don't know if the quality would be there. And at that price,
Well,
Yeah.
do they have any of the speakers that will cover the mid range? Because the 2 inches is plenty for all your high range, and your subwoofer is going to cover your low.
well, good point. Doesn't
I mean, yeah,
does it
I
come with
don't
a
know. That's
sub?
the question. It's built into the back.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah, the tweeters on my computer speakers are are tiny, and then it just has a subwoofer, and they sound great. They're not any bigger than 2 inches.
One other thing I don't like about it is how far up it comes. Like I'm gonna see that in my peripheral, and it's gonna be covering part of my monitor. It looks like so that's just
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. If you're on a single monitor, I think you're good. But if you're on triples, nope.
so I want to digress a little bit here since we're talking about sound systems. I bought for myself for Christmas, and I unwrapped it early instead of putting it under the tree with my points from work, so I didn't actually have to buy it. $450 value if you were to buy it at Best Buy, and it's called the Edifier S350DB, and it's basically a speaker system that consists of uh, two a left and a right speaker, and a 8-inch subwoofer. So three speakers and a nice dark cherry wood. They're kind of like a bookshelf speaker. And I decided I'm going to hook it to my rig and retire my old speaker system from Altic Lansing finally. And boy, what a difference does it make to have another subwoofer in the mix and to have these suckers screaming. And I'm still wondering when the neighbors are going to knock on the door, but I've kind of been pushing the limit lately, especially when I'm running during the day and it's not late at night on the volume. I'm like turning this baby up. The other thing I love about it is it's got Bluetooth built right in. I can just, if I want to play Apple Music off my iPhone, I can just hit play and it goes right through the speaker system, and I'm blasting, country music or whatever I want to listen to. So I really love having a high quality sound system on the iRacing rig. I can't tell people enough. You're all missing out on part of the whole thing about immersion if you're leaving out the audio part of it.
All right, we previewed it at the beginning, but there's some corporate shenanigans going on in the sim racing equipment gear, Brad.
I don't know if I call it shenanigans, but so the parent company of Danish sim racing hardware manufacturer Acetec Racing has received a takeover offer from a Chinese electronics firm. So this would be an all cash deal. Comes from the Chinese firm CQXA Holdings Pte Limited. So they are a subsidiary of Suzhou Jing something electronic technology company. So if completed, this would slated to take place in Q1 of 26, of course, dependent upon shareholder acceptance. So the article is from Traxion um, GG, and kind of going through it. Apparently, it would leave basically Acetec still operating as they are. They would still, continue to make sim stuff. But so the offer pitches 100% of Acetec's equity. Which is valued at 547.4 million, whatever Danish that is. That's around 85 million, which is a lot of money. For Acetec, I would think. Um, but the Andre Erickson, CEO for Ace Tech, was says, "I'm very happy. I'm happy that we have finally reached the stage where we can announce the offer." So he says, "My journey with Ace Tech has been long, fun, and at times tough, but I'm proud of what we've built and pioneered, and I'm grateful for current and former shareholders who have supported us along the way." So he still says, "I'm confident that a bright future awaits Ace Tech, and I'm looking forward to embark on the next chapter of our journey." Uh, where we thank them for their financial strength, expanding on all regions and whatnot. So again, haven't seen anything else on this. I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about Ace, but I've made those very clear over the last year or so.
Well, is it a he's selling the company and cashing out, or is he letting them buy a good chunk of the company and he's still moving forward? Cash infusion, right?
Based on the quote, it sounds like he's sticking around, and it's
Right.
just
Yeah,
letting them, but basically letting them buy in as a partner.
Yep.
I would say partner, but they're taking over the company. I guess he's going to stay on there. I mean, Ace is they did something else. He's did not start doing sim racing, did something different. I just can't think of what it is.
Liquid cooling coolers or something.
That's it.
All right, Mike, you've been asking for the next thing for a while.
AI Chief Racing.com. It looks pretty cool. I wonder. I haven't tried it, but I wonder is this good enough yet?
Well, you
Uh,
can't try it yet because it doesn't come
yeah,
out till March.
beta in January.
So you gonna try it, Will?
Uh, I'll try it, I guess, just to see what it is, especially if it's a free open beta. Looking on the website, the free version of what they're going to offer is just a crew chief spotter call out. Pro is 9.99 a month. It'll remember people's names. It'll try to give you some strategy and coaching. And it'll remember. It says memory. I'm not sure what it remembers. And then Pro Plus for $20 a month, includes a streamer and endurance package and a setup package. So I guess it'll um, attempt to tell you what to change on your setup if you're having issues. The endurance package, if I'm looking at this right from their screenshots lower on the website, will do stint planning for you, and do you need to save fuel? Who gets in the car next at what time? Does that with AI. So if they can actually do that, that might be interesting. But you're going to pay $20 a month for it, so that's up to you to decide if it's worth it. Um, yeah, I'll try it. We'll give feedback in March. See how it goes.
What I think when I when I put this on the script, part of what I was thinking I want to talk about is why doesn't iRacing should put on their radar for a future build something similar to this, built in, baked in. We have a
Well, if
spotter
you,
baked in.
yeah, but if you remember, they did do what? Then aren't they working in with what Microsoft and AI or something?
Yeah, they
There's
signed
a
with them.
partnership,
Yeah.
but there's no details about what that partnership entails.
And again, I'd rather them just fix the core game, like the race control and stuff like that, and let the third party guys do their magic. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Not everything that's done in third party has to be brought into the software. These other guys are doing a good job too. I mean, yeah, means you may have to spend a little bit more money here, but I'd rather them focus on the core than these external features.
Well,
I
I'm sure
just
they are, David, but you also got to remember they're bigger than they've ever been as far as their staff, and they got different teams doing different things. And so I'm sure they have a team working on, certain things. But I don't know. It's just an idea I thought I would throw out that it would be nice if we had more than a spotter, that we had like a virtual crew chief that would help us with fuel strategy, tire strategy, help us make decisions when a caution comes out. Uh, Just somebody talking in your ear, uh, giving you common sense information.
Yeah, all the overlays, even though they've done this widget thing, all the overlays that of almost all the third party companies are still vastly superior because you've got one group of guy or one small guy who that's their passion and they're just doing that and they just I just don't see when it gets pulled into a corporation, a giant corporation. I don't see it ever being as good as a third party independent guys. All right. But let's move over to the next hardware item. Conspit has a US web store now.
Mm-mm.
Did I, Jim? I skipped, huh?
You skipped one.
I skipped it. Yeah, and I remember reading this. Okay. We have a DIY dashboard available from Rival Sim Racing for that's 74 pounds, I believe that's the symbol for pounds. And it does everything that you can do without raiding your wallet. 4.3-inch screen with NeoPixel LEDs, RPM, flag info, all powered through a single USB-C. So they like to boast that it'll give you the same functionality that you see that units that cost 2 to 3 times as much, but you build it yourself.
Yeah, so you're gonna get the. I mean, what's nice with this for 74 pounds, you're gonna get the display, the LEDs. You know, you're gonna get the files to 3D print this. But I mean, look, if you get a 3D printer, this is a super cheap way to go.
And a
Yeah,
lot of the guys who have the 3D printer, it isn't just about the saving the money. It's kind of fun to build it for them.
I've never seen a dash that cheap, but obviously you have to 3D print and have a printer and all that, and be able to build it. I wonder if you have to solder wires. That's a hard no for me.
no, not. I mean, it's. I'm sure it's gonna be a V-core screen, so that's already basically gonna have everything already assembled, just so they get popped in, LEDs and whatnot. So, I mean, you may have a little bit, but yeah. So Rafe, the rival sim racing. So if you go to their website, they offer all kinds of files for 3D printing and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. I've joked about getting a 3D printer, but I'd probably end up just doing nothing but printing stuff over and over again and not doing any racing.
You could print a trophy room
I don't want a trophy room.
and start making tiny little trophies for every race win.
I could. I'll send them to Donnie.
You know, our teammate Kyle Pendergraft, he bought a 3D printer and then he bought another 3D printer and then he bought another 3D printer and then
Yeah,
his
well, he's
garage
he's
filled
got.
up with 3D printers.
Yeah, he does a bunch of that stuff on the side too. He's printed some stuff for me before, so he's done a couple things for me.
All right, so can we talk about Conspit now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, talk about Conspit.
Like USA Conspit web store is here. They announced it on their Instagram. Exclusive launch plus some Black Friday special. So I guess this post is just a little bit old. I haven't actually looked to see what deals they have. I think Conspit is actually doing really well at their price point, but it's not my thing. But yeah, now you can get it in the US without tariffs.
15% off some items. So
Well, we've always said, you know, when are we going to see Constant available in the U.S. or through U.S. channels? Well, now you have this option. Yeah.
yeah, I mean they've had some U.S. distributors, but now to actually have an actual U.S. website, that's good.
Yep, a step forward for sure. And they've had decent reviews on most of their stuff. I haven't really seen any bad reviews.
Well, speaking of reviews, Moza R21 from Boosted Media. Tell us about it, Mike.
Yeah, so shout out to Will. He had a bad kidney stone and had complications, and man, that's like the most painful thing in the world. And so shout out to him. I hope I never have to do that. But he's been kind of laid up recently due to that. But he did get this video out about the Moza R21 Ultra. Um, I don't know. What was the overall? He concludes that the R21 Ultra offers good value for its strength, but its lack of USB pass-through for high-end wheels and its awkward positioning in the ecosystem might make other slightly less powerful but similarly priced competitors a better fit for the majority of sim racers.
They already had a 21 Newton meter wheelbase in there.
Is that one obsolete or what's the deal?
Well, I mean, it's that was the one that was really almost a kind of a funky base. was that kind of wide, real
Yeah, just really
wide.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen a couple reviews of this. It's got good reviews, but again, I mean, I don't know. 21 is just kind of a weird number. It's like
Yeah,
I want to go all the way to 25, but nah, I don't want to go back up. I want more than 17 or 18. It's like just go to 25.
yeah, I don't understand its place because they have the R25 and then they have the 18. I don't understand who's actually gonna buy it, but
Well, because
I
it has
guess
the
so.
Ultra. It says Ultra though, William.
Yeah, I guess.
It's Ultra.
Well, so does the R25. There's an R25 Ultra.
Oh, yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, why have a 18, 21, 25? You don't need all those different
Oh,
steps.
they got more than that. What is it? Starts with is five the
Starts at the
smallest?
three. No,
A
three is the
three.
smallest. Then goes to 5, 9, 12, 21, 25. And I think there's an 18 in there somewhere as well.
So it looks like we're not the only guys who have merch. Jimmy Broadbent now has a rig with his name on it. Is that what I'm reading here, Brad?
Yeah, this is GT Omega. So I think they showed this at the ADEC Sim Racing Expo. So yeah, it's got got that blue kind of teal color seat with Jimmy Broadbent in embroidery and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I want to race at an influencer's chair, but hey, good for him.
It looks nice, and I like the teal. I mean, that's a really neat look. It's a kind of a 80/20 style rig, which I don't know if GT Omega is known for that, but this was it's a good quality rig, and yeah, if you're into Jimmy Broadbent, you want that his name, like you said, embroidered across the seat instead of your own. Yeah, I guess this is the rig for you.
I'm trying to find a price.
I was not able to find one.
That's not good.
It just means it's not out yet. I like Jimmy, and I think this looks good. I never considered GT Omega. I was either ASR or SimLab when I was buying mine, but I think it looks pretty good and good for Jimmy.
Next up, we have some guys that look to be not too far from my neck of the woods. Sing Rig on Etsy. They're in St. Louis. It looks like they have some things that you might like, Mike. Some that are related to lighting.
Look, it's just another option. We always talk about SimSport Gadget, because they're definitely a reliable company, and like William just bought something from them, and William got taken care of. But this is another one that offers similar style products to what you would see over there, where they're basically 3D printed things like, light mounts and, different things you can get for your rig. So if you're looking for accessories, this is just another place to check.
I mean, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, SimSport Gadget took care of me, and I highly recommend them. But this one has some different stuff that I haven't seen over at SSG. A lot of the lighting stuff that some different mounts for it. Maybe pre-wired? No.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got not only you get the bounce and the arms, you actually get the light bars themselves. So there's
Right. Yeah,
it's
it
a
comes
whole
as a
package.
package.
So yeah, it's not bad. Again, just hey, more options, man. More options, the better.
With speaker mounts and yeah, different things like that. And I'm kind of looking for a way to mount my new speakers, my bookshelf speakers. They don't have a way to mount, but so they need to sit on a shelf. And so I was thinking of getting somebody to help me build a shelf that hangs from the bottom of my triples down the left and the right side in the middle, and it's just like a shelf that hangs below or hangs from the bottom of the mount of the triple, and it's just big enough for the speaker, and it's just blowing right at me from the left and the right. And so I've kind of contemplated putting them there. Right now they're on a shelf that's behind the center, just kind of pointing left and right.
All right. Before we go on to the next one, it made me wonder a question. Have has Canada already had their Christmas?
Where's Greg?
Oh.
All right. So we spoke about their U.S. website, but it looks like Conspit is also getting a Canadian distributor.
Nice. Duty free with free shipping on orders over 500.
So that's what, like $3.50 American.
Close.
Well, look, it looks like Conspit's all in on North America. They want to be in Canada and the U.S. because they know, we got a good customer base here.
All right. How about a fully 3D printed wheel? This actually, the layout is not bad. This is interesting, and I think I only see the front picture. It looks like it has two sets of paddles in the back as well.
$95, 95 pounds. This is that same company we talked about before, Rival Sim Racing. It almost looks like a piece of clay, that's modeled into a Formula wheel because it's all one color. But yeah, like you said, it's fully 3D printed. So it says available mid-December, and I guess that would be the plans for the 3D print. And it looks like they have pineapple grips uh, partnering in for the handles on this particular build.
Yes, Pineapple Grips. I think made a lot of stuff for Fanatec replacement grips, I believe, for their wheels. So yeah, again, I mean, if this is what you're into, I just give it to me. Let me open up the box and hook it up. I don't want to have to build anything.
Yeah, I have a 3D printer, but I would never want to use a fully 3D printed wheel. Not a chance.
Do you think durability would be an issue and flex?
Flex.
I mean, you can print with some pretty durable materials, and as long as you do the infill, relatively dense, it shouldn't flex. But just the feeling, I don't know. I'm kind of spoiled with my X29 being full aluminum, and then you have carbon fiber wheels. I just don't think I could go to, you know, PTT or whatever. I don't know.
It would be neat to try for me to be able to say whether I'd like it or not. I guess maybe they'll maybe we can get them to have one at the Sim Gaming Expo next year. All right, how much is this next rig, William?
Too much because I'm pretty sure this is the one that doesn't put the price. It just says contact us. But it says not bad if you want to have the same simulator as an F1 driver, right? And they say they built the same simulator, or they built one for Esteban Ocon.
Nice.
Red, with his symbols on the simulator itself, his motion has two active pedals. Wraparound monitors, looks to be a Formula style seat.
Yeah, all red branding. It's got his I guess that's his number and his name or his branding on it. I guess it is his branding. But the computer has red fans that match the red, metal, and it's a nice look. And of course, the equipment, two semi-cube active pedals, you ain't going wrong there.
All right, we just keep ripping through the hardware. We've got button boxes, Brad.
Yep, this is some new button boxes from Simperior. We talked about them before. So this is the SP300. Is now available for pre-order. Pretty neat looking, 3D printed with carbon fiber front plate. Very similar to what you get in a GT3 car. It's pretty neat looking. I mean, if you're looking for that immersion, I think it's pretty cool. Not sure if they come already stickered or if you get the options to where you're going to put the stickers in the layout and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty neat. I think from an immersion standpoint, this would be a nice addition. So you got your brake bias, nice big knob for that. You've got all your other switches, some momentary switches, some toggle switches, and whatnot. So pretty neat.
Yeah, pre-order. There's a code here to get $10 off. And I don't think we've talked too much about this company, but I kind of like what I'm seeing. Like you said, it's a It reminds me of a Porsche box, but it's probably GT3 style with the kind of wide at the top and narrower at the bottom.
All right, we were one of the first guys who got to break the news that Sarah was going to be an ambassador for Sim Labs, and she's got her rig now. And this is going to be a very handy video as just as a review, but to help anybody who buys one build their own, as she does the full build, right, Mike?
Yeah, and she gives a few tips and tricks about what she ran into. Um, the only problem she had at all was there were one or two screws she had trouble threading in, like maybe some paint or powder coating got into the threads or something. But other than that, she had a really good experience with the build. You have to pay attention, like some of the cross pieces on the bottom. Like I think she said one was 90 millimeters and the other one was 100 millimeters, and they look the same, but they're not. And so you have to make sure you get to use the right one in the right place, kind of thing. So make sure to follow instructions. But Sarah does a good, review of it. I think what really draws me to the rig is the seat is beautiful. Oh, I love that powder blue. And then they put her name across the back top of it. It says, her first and last name. Um, when I bought my SimLab P1X, I was keen on that seat. I was like, man, I want that seat, but you couldn't order it to America back then. It was a Europe only seat. And so I had to figure out something different. But now I think you can get that seat in the US. Um, and so, yeah, if I'm in the market for a seat, I would for any rig, I'd be looking at that one. But yeah, I think Sarah did a really nice review of this.
Yeah, I get way too hot to have that up on my head. It just make things even worse. So that's just me.
Yeah, do we need a surround around the head in sim racing?
Do you need belts,
You,
Mike?
You
just
do need belts.
get the surround speakers and just put fans on top of them.
Yeah, there you
Have
go.
them
Yeah, do it.
blowing from every direction. Then you've got, and you could rig them up to sim labs and have them speed up, and you're going faster. Then you got your win sim as well.
I'd love Sim Labs to put in a fans in their seat, with that same look and feel of that seat, with fans built in. That would be a winner for sure. The other drawback on the seat I want to throw out, I saw it does have a hole for the submarine belt, which is the belt that comes up between your legs, but the slot for it was the wrong way. The belt needs to come up horizontally because of the way it's designed, but they have the slot the other way. So what would happen is the belt will come up through the seat cushion and it's going to be turned sideways, and you're going to have to actually twist it before you hook it. And so I saw that
Why?
as a design flaw.
Why in the that makes absolutely no sense.
Well, remember when Sarah did the video on the seatbelt tensioner system? It was important for her to have a submarine belt because the seat tensioner was pulling the belts up against her neck, up her chest, because it wasn't held down by the submarine belt.
I know, but I'm just trying to. Why in the world would you do a vertical slot as opposed to a horizontal slot? Horizontal
I
slot.
see it as a design flaw. I don't know why they would put it in that way. Yeah. I mean, you could probably make it work, but it's not right. Not like mine is. My NRG has a proper hole in it. That's the right, it's horizontal versus vertical, for the submarine belt. Anyway, love Sarah's videos. She does a great job on these, and glad to see her doing the nice rig like the P1X Ultimate.
I do believe we can also give her congratulations for getting her U.S. citizenship as well. I believe she posted about that recently.
Nice.
All right, moving on. We have some news from SemiCube with the SemiCube 3. Remember that not ready question mark we talked about? Was it? It really was just last week, wasn't it, Brad?
Yeah. So, kind of a quick hit here from Dan Suzuki. We talked about last week. He had shared kind of a quick video, some of the issues that he was having with the CityCube 3, primarily, as we'd said, with firmware probably, and then the tuner software. So some of the things that he had issues with last time was a control box and some EMI issues. Said that's now resolved. So he can now make any changes and everything like he's supposed to be able to do. Some of the force feedback knocking issues, so that was resolved with a firmware update. And then again, going from they released a new version of Tuner. Some hardware disconnects again, some EMI stuff. He said it was tracked back to a faulty power supply. So the original one was causing the voltage to drop, and then loss of force feedback dampening. Again, same thing, but once the update to the firmware in Tuner 3.03. So as we said last week, again, this is all it's I think the hardware's in good shape. The software and the firmware side is where the challenge always is. Remember when Sim Magic released theirs, there was firmware changes and things were better under a previous firmware, and they finally rolled back to some of that. So the other thing he had on here was he did have some suggested settings for iRacing for SimiCube for the SC3. So we got that on the script as well. But yeah, no, I think it's off to a good start. I think it'll continue to get better. So we'll see. The more that go out there, the more SimiCube 2 Pros will probably be for sale. So not a bad thing to grab.
And good to see how responsive they were to his video and getting everything corrected for him to be able to put out a video a week later and say, "Hey, everything I said last week has all been fixed."
All right, William. Next up, we have a budget rig,
Yeah, sure. If that's what you want to say.
meaning it blows your budget up.
Newer up again is Racing Unleashed official, and for some reason they tagged Kevin Magnuson, even though I couldn't find his involvement anywhere. Has put out on Instagram their new. Oh well, we go to Instagram and he's on there. But they put out their new GT simulator. They're gonna premiere it at a racing lounge in Zurich City. It's GT focused. It's motion. And it's got some of the ones we've reviewed before that have artificial bodies built around them. Silver with some really interesting lighting. It looks like a Cybertruck headlight on front of that thing.
Kind of a headlight
Um,
there in the bodywork, huh?
yeah. So don't know the price, but I can guarantee you, just like David said, it's going to blow the budget.
Said it's a first of its kind. I would definitely
Uh,
agree with that.
That's something, yeah.
I That's almost a stretch. It's just another fendered rig, basically. So,
So I got a new.
this may be the first one I've seen with headlights, though. I guess that's
Yeah,
something.
that's something new. I mean, they call it a GT simulator, and it kind of looks like body parts from a car.
All right, so this is a Swiss company, and these start at 65,000 Swiss francs, which is 80,000 US dollars.
So you could get that instead of the advanced sim motions rig or the driven dynamics rig,
Right.
and save about 30%. Save about $30,000 there. Just
Yeah, but
spend eighty
No
thousand to
way.
do it.
this only looks like it's four DOF, right? The other one's 6, right?
Well, you get what you pay for.
That's right.
All right, what's this next one, Mike?
Well, one of my new favorite wheels, Bavarian SimTech, is now available through Advanced Sim Racing. And of course, Advanced Sim Racing you can buy from the US and Canada and have free shipping without tariffs and whatever and that kind of
Nope,
stuff.
nope, nope. You still got tariffs to pay.
Oh, you do?
No, I
Yes, you
think
do.
ASR stuff is tear free, isn't it?
Nope. And it had to get my SemiCube wheel side mounts from them, and had to pay tariff.
Oh,
Okay. But I like the Bavarian SimTech, some of their wheels. I like that really thin one with the screen. Definitely in the top 5 of best wheels out there right now. But nice to see some, North American distributorship here. David, this next one, it really took my breath away when I saw this.
Yeah, especially me when I saw the price.
I was
Well,
hoping you
I
would
don't
look up the price and tell me what it was.
I don't want to sit in it for any kind of endurance racing. I can tell you that because there's absolutely no cushioning. I guess it would be really important that it's completely molded correctly to evenly distribute the weight, or it's gonna get really uncomfortable really fast. But it's a
Ooh.
carbon fiber seat from Sparco. And how much is it, Brad?
$1,849.
Is that the most expensive seat we've ever seen?
Yeah, yeah.
I would say
Not, not.
probably is.
I
The
mean,
Recaro, remember Recaro is pretty expensive.
I don't think they're this expensive, but if look, I'm not sure you're going to run the risk of getting hurt in your sim rig, but this will probably keep you safe.
But the look
So
of it, I love the look.
Yeah, but you wouldn't sit. You'd have it covered with a cover and cushions. You're not going to see it. I mean, you can't. Who's going to sit in that and try to race? That's miserable. Like David said.
So
I mean,
you're
well,
gonna, so does it come with a cushion, or you think you would just have to add
no,
that?
it's
the ultra
probably
carbon seat. The ultra carbon seat is unique because it was designed to be used without cover or padding. This allows a lower seating position and also better feedback from the chassis.
I'm sorry, I don't see that happening.
no.
Your butt would get
Or-
the whole airplane butt,
yeah.
syndrome. The butt kicker would really come through well if you bolted it right to the bottom of that, right?
All right, Brad,
Real.
are these
Oh,
replica wheels or covers?
These are replica wheels, so we got to hit from MPI here. New release, pre-order. So they're doing the Sim Max version of the Dale Jr. Sundrop wheel and the Bass Pro. So from his late model. Uh, don't have the Budweiser one yet, but yeah, I sent this to the wife, and I was like, "Ooh, spend my money." She thought I was kidding. I had to walk upstairs and tell her I was like, "I'm not sure why you're laughing. There's nothing funny about this."
It's a good
So
price too.
it's a very good price. So this may end up under the tree.
Which one?
The sun drop. Do I need it? No. Do I want it? Absolutely.
You shouldn't have said you don't need it. Now you're going to get
I
vetoed.
said you need another quick release.
I'd have to get another quick release.
It looks
I mean,
good. I love the green one with the yellow at the bottom, and it's got Dale Jr. Embroidered at the bottom, his
yeah,
signature.
yeah. I mean, these are replicas of what Max did for him for the two late model races. Like I said, I would love to see the Budweiser one. The Budweiser one comes out. Yeah, that's happening. Absolutely.
15-inch, I presume.
They are. So I mean, I use a 14-inch MPI, which is kind of a sweet spot, but I wouldn't mind going up to a 15 just for this. So just to have that sitting hanging on the side of the rig would look very cool.
It would.
I like this next one though. I wouldn't really want to get the McQueen or the I forget who the popular GT3
Rex,
car is. Is it
Rexy.
Rexy.
Rexy? Yeah. But you can get wraps now for your sim seat, and I guess or your sim wheel as well, which are basically
You
essentially
get
going to be
matching
stickers.
wraps. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's stickers. The seats are fairly new, I think. Not so new, but the wheel stickers have been out for a while, and it's only some of the more popular, like the Fanatec stuff. Rexy is new. This company has been making this stuff for quite a while. Some popular designs, some famous old liveries and stuff like that.
Oh, I wonder if how the printing is done, and if they could do custom prints. Like, could we get iRacers Lounge stickers?
I don't know if this particular company does custom, but I know they're out there and you can have them done.
The problem is putting a sticker on a piece of equipment. I don't know. It's a permanent sticker. It starts peeling up or something. I don't know. I just have a problem putting a sticker on a nice new wheel. But on the other
I wouldn't want
hand,
it for the wheel. I wouldn't. I would just get it for the seat.
well, it would look good if you had the matching wheel and the matching seat. Look, when I think you build a rig, you need to take a step back and say, I want it to have a certain look. I want to have a certain color scheme or something like that.
Yeah, if I ever changed from this ASR4, which I don't plan on doing it, the only reason I would is to maybe get it a custom color code or something like that. When I bought this, the only option was just straight black. So maybe once I've bought everything I want and I have my Solpec wheel and all that good stuff. If I need to spend some money on some mounts, give me a custom painted rig.
Well, you come to the right place because we can spend your money.
Oh, I know you can. Real quickly before we go to results, just on the ASR thing, their rigs, chassis, monitor stands are tariff free. All their other stuff you have to pay tariff on.
Ah, okay. Well, there you go. Like I said, I did have to pay. It wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah.
Darn that Trump.
It'll be okay whenever I get my tariff
Rebate check, right?
my
Yeah.
rebate check. That's right. That's never
You'll get
coming.
it all come back and more. Results. Let's talk about our racing results. First, the IRLP Polar Series League race, week 6 at Bristol. David, P16.
Yeah, I got wrecked out early. Started off with decent pace, but just I guess I can't take care of the tire in this car. Um, so people started running me back down, and I was just going to let them go, not fight. And I wasn't fighting at the beginning. I wasn't running hard or anything. And that guy got tight and nudged my left rear corner. He did quickly apologize, but it caused 6 minutes of damage. And I think he may have even been a little bit surprised when he got to my fender because I was checking up. So he may not have been expecting to be even with me with him being right behind the other cars, if that makes sense. So it's definitely one of those legit accidents. You know, he did hit me, but it wasn't a bonehead move, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, and my race, I got a P6. Pretty proud of that, considering the group of people we're running with, which are mostly 4,000 and 5,000 I ratings, the majority of people in there. Bristol, the pit road opens quickly. I don't know if the pace car is waiting for the field or not, but that's what I noticed. And so as the leaders kept on going to the pace car, pit road's open. I pit. I take the lead because they have to pit the next lap by, and I was smart enough to come really hard, go real fast after I got off pit road to get back around before they got off pit road. And that gave me the lead in track position. And I was able to keep it for most of the race. Towards the end, on the second round of green flag stops, I had already stopped and a caution came out and I got trapped a lap down. Um, but was able to, bring it home in a respectable P6, one lap down. There were 5 cars on the lead lap.
Yep, Chris came in ran as well. I don't know what took him out, but he left the race pretty early. And he went out without a caution coming out. It was just in the
I
middle of
imagine he had
a
a
real fun
motion
run.
problem or something wrong with his
Yeah.
equipment setup. Moving into other racing, I ran the BMW M2 at Summit Point. Got a P8 after starting dead last. Then I tried FIA F4 Americas P6 after starting dead last in a top split at Willow Springs. Moving on to IMSA, David P1.
Yeah, I ran a lot of spa races. I just had a lot of time last week and ran quite a few. And in this one, I was running P2, catching the guy or hanging right with him. And I actually, with about 2 laps to go, I got a little loose coming out onto the back straight and gave up a lot of time and let him go. He got ahead of me, and another guy got past me as well in that process. But then both of them got bottled up by a GT3 who was not racing anybody and was just kind of running around him on the white flag lap. And they both got taken out in the chicane after you go through Eau Rouge. I forget what it's called, Coulomb. They both took each other out with him, kind of blocking them as they were racing for the win. And I went by him and took the victory.
Hey, you got to be there, man. You were in the position to take the win, and well done. Brad, P4.
Yep, congrats, David. So, yeah, P4 GT3 Spa. Started P6. Got forced 3 wide into the chicane right there at the start. Had a guy throw it up inside me. Really shouldn't have been there. But that ended up forcing me. I had to move, otherwise I was going to get turned. And unfortunately, I did get into a guy and ended up spinning him. He yelled at me, but I think hopefully he went back and looked at the replay and saw there really wasn't anything I could do. Had a really good race, contending for a top five, pretty much all race. As the race was finishing down by the last 4 laps, myself and P4 were just having a fantastic battle. You know, it was kind of just trading back and forth, gain, fall back a little bit, gain, make a run. But we took the white flag and had an LMP2 coming up behind us, and he just was damn determined he was going to have to get in the middle of us. So really frustrating because he had nothing to gain from it. All he did was split us and, ruined what was going to be a fun race to the checkers. But got lucky, and P4 ended up spinning into the final chicane coming to the checkers. So I ended up getting the P4, but I would have rather raced it out. It would have been a lot of fun. So it's another situation where there's 1,000, split on the SOF for the LMP2s. Super frustrating. Certain points. I mean, it's just like some of the other tracks. It's like they just park it, and it's just so frustrating. So that all said and done, finished, got moved up into Division Three this past season. Finished P28. Would have liked to have been a little bit better, but I lost about 300 IR right at the very beginning of the season, and just really struggled to get it back. So could never get up into the higher split. I kind of got stuck in that second or third, depending on what we had. But we'll see. We'll see where I end up with for this next division. But yeah, it was a challenging season. Just really started out with a bunch of bad luck and a bunch of bad finishes.
Since you mentioned it, I did come in P6 in Division 5.
Not bad. William, you got a P4 and a P12.
Yeah, P4 was my first race of the week. Second split, most of everybody was around my I rating. Nothing remarkable. I held my own with people similar pace. Pretty proud of the race. Just kept it clean. Thankfully, it wasn't like Brad. My prototypes were relatively even level, so I didn't really have a lot of problems. Was trying to chase down P3, but just never got there. P12, this was top split European time slot. I don't know how I managed to do this. But man, this was like a 4K, 4.5K GT3 split, and these guys were fast. There was like 7K guys in there. Cash Patel, the streamer, I don't know if anybody's ever watched him, but he was second or third in the race. I felt like I held pace with people that were close to my I rating, but man, I had nothing for the top 5, 6, 7. Bullied really hard in the first few laps of this race. I guess I wasn't aggressive enough. There was nothing egregious, but a lot of door banging. And I lost a couple spots in the beginning. Some GR guys were watching in Discord, and they're like, "Man, I'm scared for you. I'm not even racing." Um, just to tell you how competitive this split was, I finished 12th and still gained 35 IR. So it was pretty nice. I'm glad for the result. Looks like I'm being put in top split a lot more, and I don't think my pace is quite there, but we'll see how it goes in the beginning. I finished P6 in Division Three with Brad and them. I think I was P4 last week when we talked, and just got kind of gotten by some bye weeks. Some guys had some results that they were able to get rid of. Was really really trying to get that certificate, but pretty happy to finish P6 anyway.
Well done, especially in that top split European. Let's move on to league racing, grassroots racing, the Coda Sprint Race. William, P4.
Yep. So before Monday, I had never raced this track, and I will be happy to not race it for a long time. I just don't enjoy it. I just don't enjoy it. I never felt comfortable the entire race. I was able to get a decent result, but that's just because I was, kept it clean, kept it on track. Um, I had nothing for the top two guys. Well, top three really. I think I finished 6 or 7 seconds behind them. But yeah, I'll take that. The rest of the season schedule looks really good with track choices, so happy to have this one in the rear and going forward.
Brad, P13 overall, P10 in class.
Yeah, so I don't like this track in a stock car. It's a lot of fun just to get out and hot lap in a sports car. Racing, not so much. It's difficult. But started P8, really felt like I had good pace and was expecting to get a good finish. But in typical turn one coda, had a car get turned around right in front of me, and I basically had to stop. I mean, it's all I could do. Got rear-ended in the rear end. They dropped me back a few spots. Then I ended up spinning a few laps later, just pushing way too hard, trying to get spots back. So finally settled back into the top 10 before pits, and I was good with that. I gambled to try to with a very tight fuel strategy, trying to gap those around me. And really weird, JRT had me needing even less than what I actually took, but I ended up running out of gas. So um, I was running P8, and as we're coming to the white flag, I realized I wasn't going to make it. I was 6/10 of a gallon short. So I had to pit, and I ended up dropping 5 spots there. So just really weird. I've never had JRT really give me a bad number. I've always trusted JRT, so that's why I wasn't that concerned. But yeah,
Was it a
So Brad, I
timed
don't.
race or
Yeah, it's time. It's 45 minutes. Brad, I don't
so?
know if something funny happened with the GTP leader or something because the top two in GT3 Pro also had fuel issues at the end. Their fuel calculator left them a lap short as well. So
well,
I don't know.
JRT actually had me needing like 5.8 gallons, and I took 6.6 and still was short.
Yeah,
So
I'm not sure then.
yeah, I don't know what happened with JRT. It was like I
So
said,
look,
I've
if
never.
the race was a lap race, like it's 20 laps or it's 40 laps, JRT would not do you wrong. But in my experience running hosted races that are typically 15 or 20-minute timed events that are not based on laps but based on a time frame, JRT is often wrong based on calculating how many laps the race will be. Like I'll look up and it'll say 15 to go, but in reality it's 14 to go or it's 16 to go, and it doesn't quite uh, calculate it very well during a timed race. Now I haven't relied on it for fuel. But I think that's what you're experiencing. It's just not good at realizing, oh, he may have to do one more lap than we're showing him right now.
Well, it guesses because that's all it
Right.
can do is guess. And
It
because
it
I will
doesn't
watch
guess
it some
well.
sometimes it'll change between how much I need and how much I'll watch it change literally as soon as a GTP leader pits and the position of the GT car changes and it'll change its guess. So just about always, I always take an extra liter and a half usually, and since I do that at almost every track, I've never run into a problem. There's like
Yeah.
one place where you have to take where it's almost always completely like 3 liters under, but for the most part, usually just a liter and a half over what it recommends gets the job done.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird because I thought I was going to be okay because I did get passed by the leader, and I was like, all right, well, that's good. That's probably going to save me a lap, but it didn't. So it is what it is. Again, I played it and trying to gain. Again, if I hadn't gotten caught up in the turn one mess and then ended up spinning, I never would have even thought about fuel. I would have just gone ahead, probably auto fueled and let it go. But it is what it is.
Okay, so let's go through what I ran. A bunch of stuff. Pickup Cup at Phoenix qualified P2, drove all race long, and P2 trying to catch up to the next guy. I was the only one, 1 second back, and then some 4,000 iRating guy came driving up through the field, went by both of us, and won the race. So I finished P3. Next, I ran the Mount Washington VW Beetle up the hill, put up a respectable lap, at least I thought it was, but some 48 seconds off pole. I did a 540, and the pole was a 452 in the fastest in the race to the summit, sponsored by Racecraft. Then I hosted Chris McGuire Car Tomorrow, at Talladega. Started P8, and I win. Ended up winner chicken dinner. At one point, I was catching the leader and had a huge, maybe 10 or 15 mile an hour faster run than him, and he pulled down in front of me, uh, and kind of got him with my nose as he tried to block. And yeah, sorry about that, but I went on to win the race. Next, same car at Daytona, got wrecked out. Next, I ran Carb Cup Gen 7 at Daytona, P3. Then Pickup Cup at Phoenix, uh, finished P4. Then I qualified sixth and finished P6. I was kind of fading at the end. Then back to Carb Cup at Daytona, wrecked out. Then hosted Supercars at Michigan, finished P6. Some guy was going below the line and trying to blend up. I called him a clown over the radio, and then he tried to take me out. And under caution, he came up and actually spun me. The host ended up booting him out of the race, even though he was a regular because he wouldn't stop. Next, we ran Gen 4 at Daytona. It was hosted. I wrecked out. Then Pickup Cup finished P3. Then week 13, ridiculousness, the BMW M2 at North Wilkesboro started dead last, finished sixth overall, P3 in class. That was pretty fun. I'd never run North Wilkesboro since the update scan, and I was shocked at how different it looked. Then I ran the FIA F4 at Willow Springs. Kind of a shit show. Started 10th, finished P6, though. I stayed out of the trouble. Then BMW M2 at Summit Point, 12th, started 12th, finished P8, and then the new FIA cross car at the Winton Motor Raceway Rally track, P6, started from pole position. Next, tried Pickup Cup again, Daytona, wrecked out. And then finally, I ran the Winter NASCAR iRacing Series at Daytona fixed in the 87s. It was a green flag for the longest time. We got through 1.5 green flag stops before the caution started coming out. I did get involved in a wreck, 3 minutes damage, got all of that fixed, but wrecked out pretty hard racing near the end for 15th on the white. I drove it in there and took that guy out. I did not mean to. Ooh, ouch, P19. All right, final thoughts, Brad Wren.
So week 13, typically kind of the week where I don't do a whole lot. Gonna try to been meaning and wanting to get through the rig this week. Just haven't had time to go through and kind of hit bolts, make sure stuff's tight. Gonna go through and do some lubrication on my pedals. Try to do that about every 6 months or so. Just kind of give the rig a one over. It's a good time for a break before we get into the season one. So somewhat happy with how the last season went. Just rough start. Just made it for a challenge, but just trying to be a little more intentional when it comes to practice. Thinking about stuff as opposed to just getting out and turning laps. Really, just trying to focus and pay attention. Do want to credit grassroots racing because I think it's made me better. Racing in there with guys that are super quick, and that makes it again. You get pushed a little bit harder, and there's no consequence. Not losing I rating or anything safety rating like that. So can be a little bit looser in there, but again, trying to take those times where kind of use as a test, for whatever the normal track is that week, since we typically follow the schedule. So I appreciate William getting me over there, and yeah, we're a few weeks away from getting ready to start mech and all that, and with the majors. So excited that with there, and yeah, just looking forward to next year. We'll one more show probably. We'll take a few weeks off here for the holidays, so it's good. I think we're in a good spot.
All right, David Hall, final thought.
I'm definitely just ran the league race and haven't done anything else with week 13. I used to really enjoy the ridiculousness, but I guess that wore off its newness. So, I and the fact that I have something else that I can play DCS during week 13 will keep me away. Not a whole lot else. Me and Tom plan on trying to run the whole mech season as well. I If it stays the way it is, I don't have any concerts on the same weekend, so I think we can make all the races. So that's the plan. And we could use few more guys in the race, in the league race. I'd love to see a field of. I'd love to see it crack 30. Though the 20 car races have been clean and challenging.
We had 22, I think, this week. All right, William Westbrook, final thought.
Yeah, just like Brad and David said, week 13 for me ends up being a whole lot of nothing. I just don't really enjoy a lot of the stuff they put up. Well, I mean, like I say, it's good to get a break, and iRacing itself needs a break. So not gonna complain about it too much. But if any racing I get done this week will probably be either hosted or I'll just really just take the break because we put a hosted up the new P Cup at Road
Hey
Atlanta
Siri, give me
on
some movie
Wednesday,
titles
and
with the
it's just a
word
mess because there's no consequences,
13
right? So
weeks
people
in
just
it.
send it 3, 4 wide in the turns where they don't really need to. If you've been listening for a minute, you kind of might have picked up that my work has been absolutely nuts for the last 4 or 5 months. I've taken some time off. I think I'm only working 4 days before New Year's, so I'm gonna have a lot of time to race once it goes back official before, at least before my daughter gets out of school for Christmas break. So I'm looking forward to having some time, getting some real racing done. I cracked 3K on road. That was kind of my goal for the end of the season, and I was able to make it at Spa. So I'm really happy about that, and looking forward to just trying to push that a little bit further.
Keep it going. Keep it climbing. You haven't hit the ceiling yet. All right, my final thoughts. Love my Moradness Daniel Morad gloves. From he calls them the Aura Pro. It's a little weird having to put them on every time, um, but I'm used to it now, and I'm running them every race. The Sim socks, I'm not. It's too much trouble to take them off and on. The way that I race is, I'll run a quick race. I'll walk away for 20 minutes, and I'll come back and run another race. And so I'm off and on, and I don't want to just wear them continuously, so I'm just not using them. But they were kind of a neat idea. Loving the new speaker system I got. Really happy with that. Look, I didn't have to pay any money for it. I got it with points from work for performing well, and as well as some other Christmas presents for other people. But I bought this for myself, and what an upgrade it is to have a really high quality sound system. Uh, running your engine noise out of iRacing, and so loving it. Looking forward to checking some links that William sent me about shelves for these things. Um, and with that, we'll see you on the track later. All right, title ideas.
Didn't David just say settled? I think I like that one.
I like settled. I know we wanted evergreen, but I like settled as well.
Okay, vote.
Is there anything printed? I don't have that page up.
Virtual Revolution and Widget Factory were the two suggestions so far.
And settled. I like Virtual Revolution. I could go with any of these actually.
I put Widget Factory just because we spent quite a bit of time talking about the widgets.
I like that Widget Factory. We didn't even talk about NASCAR, not 1 second. So I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah,
settled is a good one.
I'll jump on Widget Factory.
All right,
All right.
Widget Factory. Let's do it.
Show
All right,
guys.
I'm going to stop video. All right, we're clear. I'm going to get some food. I'm starving.
All right. I will miss next week. I'll be playing at a jazz club, doing kind of a family party as well for my 50th.
All right, cool. All right, I'll see you guys later.
See you.
Yep.
See you.